belated, delayed, late, whatever word you want to call it, we are here finally live for the second round of the PS4 GT3 League here on Project Cars, and it's the flight into the unknowns. We're here at Urquhart Lake in Road America on a longer, more unusual circuit, similar to Spa in many ways, as you're right by the forest and by the lakes, but it's also got those elements of much more high-speed circuits and some really technical corners. Good evening to you all. I'm Pete Markov, as usual, bringing you colour commentary here, live and exclusive on twitch.tv. Again, unfortunately, due to an issue with the audio lags, I'm actually on my own in the box once again. We're qualifying here at Road America. Bob Lee Swagger is the first one out there at the moment, driving for Audi, and we've got an interesting league so far as we're getting things going in GT3. It's been high octane, close wheel-to-wheel driving, and going down this very long straight. Look at the marker boards, 5 to 1, and then you've got a tight 90-degree corner, and Bob Lee Swagger taking a nice line on the outside. But look at the bump he's got on the curve on the outside there. Finding it really difficult to get the Audi R8 LMS really into the corners. Live on twitch.tv, you can of course get your comments in on the chat box. They are open for business as usual. Please try to avoid sending me messages through PlayStation Network if you can, purely because of one simple thing. I have to cut away from the action to view them. Meanwhile, speaking of the action, one of the BMW Z4s getting totally out of shape there, getting stuck in the wake of Bob Lee Swagger to go through the carousel. Very different to the corner that's named as it is at the Nürburgring Nordschleife. Of course, we've seen that in round 12 of this championship. Do you think this is actually a race the way these drivers are going at hammer and tongs so far? As we go through the kick down towards Canada Corner here at Road America, side-by-side action here. There's no place on schedule here at all, boy. It's all about getting the perfect line, but hey, evidently does not want to be held up, so great driving there so far. Moving further back through the field, adrenaline pleads in the BMW Z4 with one who's clipped to get ahead there as fast as he can. On the stream, meanwhile, LGS469 says, "Evening Switch." Good evening to you. Welcome back to the Excite Racing League here, GT3 on PlayStation 4. And of course, those of you who are still playing this on Xbox Live or the F1 games coming up, please get your ports and things going. F1 testing begins next week, so if you're interested to see what your perspectives are and who you think are going to be the runners and riders in that division. And the World Endurance Championship kicks off in a couple of months as well at Silverstone. Plenty of high-speed action available. So riding up one at the moment, Adrenaline Police is a 206 to go, provisional P3. Bob Lee Swagger is P4 and a 208. 206 for Vigardo, with Skanky Bobby out in front on a 205 in the RUF. Scrolling back through the field, System Blitz now broken the knees on a 208. But we'll see what beat a dog, a 209. He's actually going through the corner there, completely got that wrong. Vickers F1 meanwhile, 210 in the McLaren, and a 212 for the Alchemist, 254. A new driver here this week, along with Rotary Madness, who's yet to start taking the lap times. We're still in the infancy here trying to get the drivers in. Unfortunately, one driver has been disqualified completely, and I'm going to try and bring you now the current standings. So please apologise for any issues with the boxes here. So this is the current championship standings as we got Killer Ramsey out in first place with 25 points. We've got Walshy, aka Bad Boy, second place on 18. Skaggy Bobby, he's in third place with 15. Bob Lee Swagger with 12, and Flipper Racing round up for top 5 in 10. Sister Flip with 8, then Maldovic with 6, and finally Sachuzo with 4. We only had the 8 drivers finish in the last race. Hopefully we're going to get a few more this time. So let's get back to the track action here at Road America. We're going on board at the moment with Bob Lee Swagger on another lap. But we're going to scroll back through the field to one of the newer drivers who's come through. Alchemist 254, a 212. Quite a disappointing opening lap from him, but not as bad as Bacon. Bonds 218. Quite a long way off the pace indeed. On the stream, meanwhile, Westwick Gaming says, good evening to you, thank you for joining and being as part of the league here, live in the box on twitch.tv. And LGS469 says he's hoping that it's actually going to be Ferrari who are doing the job this year in the Formula 1 division, and it's been 4 painful years. Was last year really that painful? You had 3 race victories. I wouldn't call that painful at all, really, to be honest, but that's just my opinion. Meanwhile, Sister Flip, one of the few drivers who's out there driving in the Ginetta G55, a car which last week at Hockenheim in the rain was more than a handful. You just see on track which is more lower downforce and higher speed, if that will suit the Ginetta, or if Sister Flip's going to be battling for the medium points as normal, going down what's known as the beer straight, according to Skanky. The reason for that is that he likes to apparently sip a beer while he goes down this, because of high speed and a long time. Well, I remember Juha Kankinen in the World Rally Championship at one point during, I think it was the Kenyan Safari Rally, had a 2-mile long straight, so what did he do? Ate a burger. When you're hungry, You might as well get involved. So this is where I'm going to turn 2. The track has got 14 corners, this Road America. Bizarrely, only about 3 of them have actual names. I don't understand how tracks have this problem where circuits have so many corners, such history and heritage, and yet they don't have the names for the corners. It's like a Singapore. Apart from the Singapore Sling and the Anderson Bridge, it had turn 14, 13 and PK, for those of you who follow XRL. Sister Flip going a little wide at turn 5. They're really struggling to get the car down on all the curves. Really finding it difficult to ride the outside rumble strip. Very unforgiving. The car can easily be spat out and hit the wall. Very, very difficult indeed to really get that through. And I do apologise. I am solo commentating this week, so if it gets a bit monotonous, please tell me, and I'll probably ignore you. So Sister Flip coming into the carousel. Not banked like I want the Nordschleife, but it's still a high-speed corner that really encourages a precise line, and it's so easy to get dragged off into that inviting gravel. It might look nice, but it'll slow your car down and it'll easily put you into the wall. It's definitely a place you want to avoid at all costs if you can. Almost high-speed drifting there from System Flint as he went right round the outside, really hung it out on the rugged edge as we go through the kick down towards Canada Corner. Getting on the brakes, is he going to make the corner beautifully? Gets a little wide on entry, but then cuts the corner on the outside nicely as we go into the rather bizarrely named Bob Mitchell corner. Now, without Googling, can any of you tell me why that is called the Bob Mitchell corner? Because I had to look it up, it got me out by quite a long way. Sister Flip coming out to the final straight now to see if you can wait time is to get any kind of improvement on the 2.08 set previously in this qualifying session. Unfortunately, no improvement from him, so we've got 94001. He's one of the guys who DNF'd last week, so he's got a lot to prove here at Road America in the second round. Just wants to come over the final brake beams one more time. Try and set a faster lap time in the RUF GT. Is it going to be an improvement from 207? No change for him either. Paulie Dormewell in the Audi R8 LMS Ultra coming down towards Canada Corner at the back end of the circuit by the looks of it. Actually, I was just coming up to turn 4. I do apologise, I managed to get my geographic wrong completely there. Gets onto the inside, right on that temporary surface there. Very little grip on the inside. And look at how much that rumble strip is pulling the drivers off the circuit. Cars are almost getting 2 wheels in the air. Must be getting very difficult to get the power down. And it's really a struggle for these drivers. Now, what's interesting about this race is it's actually being run at 5 times speed in terms of the hour. So therefore, it's going to start at 5 PM local time, but it's going to go into darkness. So the drivers are going to have that ride into the unknown where they've got the nice, beautiful lit corners, easy to see apexes, and then you've got the sun going down, the blinding visor, and then finally you've also got the darkness. So I'll be interested to see how the drivers handle that, and whether any drivers find it more accessible and speedy when it's daylight, or if they find themselves struggling to cope with the darkness. Polydor getting on the brakes as we go into Canada Corner. Goes very, very wide on the outside there. Completely misses the apex and almost goes off the circuit. Trying to walk unconventional karting line kind of approach there. Found that very difficult indeed. But goes through Bob Mitchell into the final corner before this rather bizarrely named Beer Straight. As Skanky Puppy, one of the drivers here in the PS4 league, called it. Polydor at a 2.074 so far. Can he improve? We've only got 3.5 minutes left of this qualifying session. Breaks the beams, goes slightly faster, a 2.72, so that puts him up to P6. Bodley Swagger, meanwhile, a lot to prove in the Audi R8 LMS. Came 4th last week in Hockenheim. He'll be definitely trying to get an improvement on his teammate, who came 2nd. That was Welshie, aka Bad Boy. But Welshie's advised before this race happened that he's having a little bit of a problem, actually. His pedals apparently been letting him down, so he's kind of riding into the unknown, the sticky throttle, and it could be interesting to see if he finds it a bit more difficult to handle that car throughout this race. Well, this one actually getting overtaken by one of the RUS there. Looks like that's an in-lap, so we'll go back further through the field. We've got Adrenaline Please driving for the BMW Z4. Oh, very greedy on the internal corner there. Really clipped the curb and rolled right over it. Almost went straight through the grass, but he managed to hand that beautifully. Goes wide, oh, totally outside the circuit limits there. Went onto the concrete on the outside. Don't know if that's gained him any advantage. Something you've got to be careful of, because if you do that too often, you're going to find yourself on the wrong side of the stewards. As he goes through Carousel, his line compromised by that poor run through the corner previously, and that's really affected him. Lost him a lot of grip as he's got the outside tail slipping and sliding. Really finding it difficult to get the power down in that BMW Z4. A bit of a surprise, because normally that's the car that allows you to really attack the corners. Gets an excellent line through the middle of the turn there. Absolutely beautiful performance going through Bob Mitchell down towards the final turn 14 onto the straights to break the beans. 2.063 is his best lap so far here at Road America Aircart Late. And again, if you've got any comments on the stream, the chat box is open. Feel free to get them out there, and I'll do my best to give you a shout out as the sun starts to set here in Road America. So we are going to see the night drive. A 2.061, he's got a slight improvement. Pagano behind him, a 2.060, so it's very, very close at the top of the order. Skanky Puppy in the RUF GT goes through turn 2. This is final crack at the whip here on a 2.057, and out in first place, sat in the garage on 2.49, is last week's winner, Killer Ramsey. He's got his feet up on the dashboard. He's not even actually even partaking here. It's so nice when you're fast. Teammate Killer Ramsey going on the outside, trying to get close to the outside curb. Avoids riding the outside too far there, but he's actually being compromised. It's one of the Audi R8 LMS Ultras is getting right up his tailpipe and flashing his headlights at the back of that car and saying, "Get your RUF out of my way. I want to set a quick lap time and you're holding me up." And Skinny Puppy's like, "I'm on a quick lap. I'm entitled to take my line." So these drivers will probably have a bit of a spat in the pits afterwards, but it's quite entertaining to watch. It gives you an idea of how difficult it can be to get in the wake and follow another driver through this narrow, bumpy circuit here at Road America. Heading down towards the Canada corner, and we've got Skanky Puppy in the RUF being followed at pace by Bob Lee Swagger in the Audi R8 LMS Ultra. He's going to be furious being held up here, but Skanky Puppy is on a fast lap. He's entitled to take his line into Canada corner, gets close to the outside line, clips the apex absolutely beautifully, rides the outside curve, a little bit of a jump on the apex there as he goes into the outside gravel, gets away with that through Bob Mitchell, heading to the final corner as behind him Bob Lee Swagger almost goes off the circuit. The lack of downforce caused by the turbulent air really affected him, but Bob Lee Swagger's going to get a nice little helpful tow here, and Skanky will be making a late dive for the pits, almost goes into the wall. I don't think he realised he was actually holding Bob Lee Swagger up there. Bob's not going to be impressed by that. He's broken the beams, and well, needless to say, he's ended up 6th on the grid on a 2.065. Polly Dog, one of the debutants, is also in 7th on a 2.072. Moshe K. Bad Boy, disappointing run, 2.073. Last week came 2nd at Hockenheim, so we were disappointed with that. System Flint at 2.081. And now we get ourselves ready to actually get out there to race. So we've got a slight little warm-up here for the drivers to give themselves an opportunity to get some final last-minute data, to get themselves an understanding of the circuit. Can they get a quick tune to the setup? One final hurrah before they find themselves out there. Out in front, we've got Rotor and Martinez. Don't know if these drivers are going to really get much of an actual lap here because of the fact that the lap is so long. It takes about 2 minutes 8 to get around, so if they're quick, they might get one hot lap just to test their final limits here. Rotary Madness in the BMW Z4. Oh, very wide in turn 2 there. Almost dragged off onto the marbles and off the circuit, but gets away with that as you head down towards turn 3 in this long straight. In Formula 1, this would definitely be one of the 2 DRS zones. On the stream, well, LTS469 says, is it a rolling or standing start? It's actually a standing start, which is a problem for me because I end up missing half of it due to the way the Project Cars does its own spectate thing. Rather than being the case of you can retire and immediately be at the front of the field, you have to cycle all the way to the front, which makes it quite frustrating. But we want to have the drivers the challenge of getting the engine, warming up the tyres, and really getting themselves on the circuit here in the PS4 League. So Rotary Madness coming up just before the carousel, a little bit of a lag spike there possibly. He seems to waver on connection, but he's got away with that. Hasn't thrown him off the circuit into carousel itself. A very tricky corner, kind of similar to Catalonia's turn 4 in the way it constantly falls away from you and the grip is always pushing you to the edge. Gets right on the outside clip there, rides the bump beautifully, heads into this rather no corner of the kink. Oh, well, look at it, it's gone way too wide there, off onto the grass, decides to go mowing the lawn, but got away with it, heading on towards Canada Corner. Rotary Madness really struggling to get on top of this BMW Z4, finding it very much of a challenge here in the GT3 League on PS4. And for those of you out there who are watching live on twitch.tv exclusively, you can get your comments in on the chat box at absolutely any time, and I'll do my best to get through them and interact with you. If you are watching via PS Network, then you can message me as the game attack is Swishbone, but I will end up cutting away from the action, so try to avoid it if you can. Rotary Madness now, onto an actual lap here in the BMW Z4, coming down this long straight towards the tight 90-degree bends at turn 1 and 2. They invite you to go wide. There's lots of concrete runoff, but there's also very little grip outside there. Right to the outside of the stone curves beautifully. Gets the power down in the BMW Z4 down to turn 2. Bit wide on entry, and they're trying to cut back on the inside, almost like the reverse line, as if you'd be trying to go in under someone, possibly an overtaking position there as you go down this very long straight. You can imagine a lot of slipstreaming action here in the GT3 League, going down towards turn 3. There's only a little kink in between, and then you've got this long braking zone before this deceptive corner. It looks like it's shallower than it is, and it catches you out with the different tones, and also the lovely little rumble strip on the outside encourages you to attack it, but also make it too much of the curb and you're going yourself out onto the grass. So you've got to really attack the corners carefully there. Heading towards the end of Sector 2, and I get the feeling this lap time may possibly have been invalidated because there's no split time as yet. Coming up to the carousel, gets caught on the outside, tries to ride it, just about gets away with that. Into the carousel. Not really pushing the apex. In fact, he's in danger of going off the circuit now. He's had to get out of the gas, nice little lift to correct his balance, but he's really found that difficult to get the car turned in. Moving back through the field, we've got the Alchemist 254. I think he's only just started the lap there. He's not going to get round. So going back to Flipper Racing, one of the other BMW Z4 drivers. I don't know if this is a hot lap or a wall out lap, but look at the staking car there. Weaving left to right, trying to get heat in those tyres. Very extreme. It's almost like he's got no connection there because the car was staking left and right, heading over there. So he's not going to get himself round. Bacon Bonsby out in the McLaren trying to get some vital data heading through. Killer Ramsey has done a 222. That's got to be an outlap. There's no way he'd be that slow in the race. So the 220 for Skanky Puppy, possibly doing some race simulation on heavy fuel here to give him an idea of the difference between the light qualifying and the overall pace that you might have. In fact, yeah, Killer Ramsey looks like he's going to be pulling over here as Bacon Bonds has done a 226. So the driver's lap times in race seem to be very much slowed compared to that of qualifying. But then again, it's going into the cooler temperatures, so the tyres might find it a bit more tricky to get the grip. And it's going to be one that all about driver character here as this final warm-up session comes to an end. After this, we will be racing here at Urquhart Lake, Road America. So unfortunately, we're just going to get ourselves ready for the grid, and I'm going to try and capture as much of this as I can. Now, I've got the thing saying Rotary Madness is joining. The Alchemist 254 is disconnected. This is not what we need. This is the worst possible start we could have here. So I've got to try and get out of the way and make sure that I'm not going to reflect this as fast as I can here. So getting on the grid at the moment, System Foot in 10th place, following Maldovic in 9th. We've got some wheel-to-wheel action. There's also Adrenaline Police tries to get put on the outside of the aisle. One overtake on the inside. Gets up, goes off the circuit. A bit of a collision there. Well shaking Bad Boy, who had bumper that's been absolutely smashed at the back end. Night 401 is in 4th place, and Adrenaline Police in 6th. Going into turn 6 there. Killer Ramsey in 7th place, being followed very quickly by System Foot in the Ginetta G55. All action at the first corner as Night 401 makes a good start. Well shaking my way to Bob Swagamy are lining up the inside of Bagravo in the BMW Z4. Is side by side heading towards towards turn 4. Gets on the brakes of the RDR, a little wheel back there, and off the circuit goes Bergamo. Bergamo's going to lose out big time here through the gravel. He's down to 5th place already, 6th, 7th, and 8th. This is an absolute disaster for the BMW Z4 driver. Figures F1 in 8th place meanwhile. System Flint, all the drivers really struggling in the car here, getting all the grip all over the place, all going off the circuit left and right. System Flint driving in the GT3 trying to catch up with Killer Ramsey. Last week's winner at Hockenheim is down in 5th place, totally out of position here, going wide on the outside. System Flint trying to attack the back of him. Meanwhile, Night 4001 is getting to the back of Bob Lee Swagger. In 2nd place now is Welshie, aka Bad Boy. Somehow he's got past Bob. I'm assuming that's because of that incident down at turn 4. So that's been a bit of a disaster for an opening lap, but the Audi's running P2 and P3. Out in 1st place now is Skanky Puppy, and he started to ride away from this quite easily. Night 4001 is currently in 4th place, doing a great job in the RUF. And then behind him we've got Killer Ramsey trying to make up ground in P5, Adrenaline Please in P6, and then Vickers VF1 is 7th. Bergamo all the way down in 8th place, been a couple of places up already. Rotary Madness really struggling here, almost going off into the wall with 4 Canada corner, but gets away with it. Behind him meanwhile, Flipper Racing is down in 10th place, as already Rotary Madness gets out of the way, and one of the McLarens tries to get past Adrenaline Please, consolidate both cars into the wall. It's a huge incident. I'm absolutely ridiculous crash there. Alchemist 254, Maldovic VF1, there's cars all over the place here. This is like a demolition derby rather than GT racing. All the way down in 10th place now, System Flint, absolute chaos in the back of the field. Paulie Dog in 11th place, Alchemist 1254 is in 12th, already there into the pits. Vickers VF1 will feel aggrieved as Rotary Madness glasses the wall going into the pits as Bacon Bots goes through 15th place. So an opening lap that's full of absolute carnage. Meanwhile, Maldovic has been passed by System Flint in the Sonata G55. Can he get the power down on the outside of turn 1 to pull away? Yes, he can. So System Flint will be trying to catch up to Adrenaline Please, who's following Killer Ramsey. And we've got Night 4001. But overhead, Bob Lee Swagger lining up a pass on the inside of his teammate. Welshie, aka Bad Boy, gets on the inside, goes round the apex. Maybe a bit of a collision possibly here. Welshie goes on the outside, collects a bit of the gravel, just about hangs on to 2nd place. Gets away with it. Meanwhile, further back in P4, Night 4001 is attacking the back of the RUF there. Night 4001 actually gets through as Bob Lee Swan goes off the circuit before the carousel. Killer Ramsey is down to P4 as a result of that. And Bob Lee Swan on the fret is under the inside. Adrenaline Please, beautiful overtake before the carousel. But Bob Lee Swan might fancy an inside run here, side by side through the carousel. That's suicidal, but courageous drive from Adrenaline Please to manage to hold on the outside and take that position. Meanwhile, Weswick Gaming on the inside of the chat box sums up best by simply saying crazy. As Killer Ramsey tries on the inside of Night 4001. This is like a touring car race at Brands Hatch rather than a GT race at Road America. Unbelievable. As Adrenaline Please goes outside into P3 and the collision between them as well. Over the top, the braking. Bob Lee Swagger's now through to P4. Adrenaline Please is 5th. Killer Ramsey's is 6th. Can you keep up? Because I've struggled to do it so far. Bob Lee Swagger trying to get on the inside of foot. Now the Night 4001 onto the opening straight here to get that slipstream. But he's got to watch out because behind him is Adrenaline Please, who's getting into the wake of that Audi R8 LMS Ultra. But now, using the slipstream, Bob Lee Swagger trying to wind up a pass towards turn 1 here. These drivers really bashing wheels and got 18 laps to go. It's a long race where these drivers don't seem to care. They're at it hammer and tongs already. Bob Lee Swagger just doesn't have the pace to catch up at the moment, so Adrenaline Please is catching up to him, and so is Killer Rams, and we've got that bungee rope effect between these 4 drivers. All seem to be catching and slowing away from each other all the time. Killer Ramsey is 6th place, catching up to Adrenaline Please, but Bob Lee Swagger fancies a potential move here in the slipstream. Behind Night 4001, Night goes left defensive, and Bob Lee Swagger decides to try and go around the outside. We've seen a few drivers taking the wider line and favouring this. Can Bob Lee Swagger psych him out for a bit of an undercut move? Looks like a masterful attempt. This is a possible opportunity here. Collision between Night 4001 and Bob Lee Swagger into the next turn. Bob Lee Swagger on the inside. This is unbelievable. What a pass! Beautiful driving by the Audi R8 LMS Ultra. Knight 4001 gets into the slipstream again, though, coming onto the turn for the carousel. He's going to have the inside line. He's going to favour us to get back through here. Well, driver's back wheels, and what on earth from adrenaline, please? Underneath him, fantastic driving. Killer Ramsey follows him through, so Bob Leeswanger is now down in 6th place. These guys are tumbling all over. It's like watching a slot machine going round. Absolutely beautiful. So Killer Ramsey looking at the back of Adrenaline, please. I'd love to show you everybody else on circuit, but this guy's already. I'm giving you one of the most entertaining pieces of action you've seen in quite a long time here. Killer Ramsey in the slipstream, trying to catch up with the cat in the corner. Gets on the brakes into the inside. Adrenaline, please, goes a little wide in the BMW Z4. Killer Ramsey has got the nice exit speed there in the RUF. Look at how close he's got to the back of that BMW Z4. As Bob Leeswanger behind him is trying to catch up. So Knight 4001. Going into the final corner, Killer Ramsey getting on the gas as quick as he can, getting into the slipstream behind Adrenaline, please. An opportunity here to use that extra drag over the hill, down towards turn 1 and get a move up the inside potentially, but that might leave him also exposed to an attack down towards turn 4. These guys are all at it all the time. It's unbelievable to watch as he pulls to the inside. Killer Ramsey in the RUF. Can he find the way through? No. Great driving by Adrenaline, please. In the BMW Z4 is behind the Bob Leeswanger in the Audi R8 LMS Ultra goes off the circuit at turn 1. Loses all grip and ground. And as a result of that, Knight 4001 now has the opportunity to get back through. Killer Ramsey in the RUF. Getting behind the BMW Z4 of Adrenaline, please. Getting a beautiful slipstream down towards turn 3. Adrenaline, please, has not yet made his move. Goes to the middle of the circuit, taking the lead out of XRL LGS in his F1 days. Going down towards turn 4, but it looks like there's a beautiful move on the inside, possibly. But then great traction on the outside, possibly here from Adrenaline, please. In the BMW Z4. Well, that's a move done and dusted for Killer Ramsey for now. Behind him we are, Bob Leeswanger has managed to get ahead of Knight 4001, so now absolutely superb driving here as Adrenaline, please, gets a look at the inside of Killer Ramsey, who's doing a great job for RUF. These drivers are being really entertaining thus far, heading into the carousel. Killer Ramsey takes a wider line on entry there, and that might psych out Adrenaline, please, taking towards the gravel. Hasn't quite worked out, so these drivers are all trying to get the one-upmanship from each other. The long straights here of Road America into these tight bends allow potential for overtaking, and it's really encouraging the drivers to go at it all out attack, and I'm sure you're all absolutely loving it. Adrenaline, please, the BMW Z4 gets on the brakes a little later than the RUF and Killer Ramsey. That may give an opportunity here, coming outside towards the rather bizarrely named Bob Mitchell corner, but he's just not got the speed in that BMW Z4. Killer Ramsey now has the chance to break this toe and get away from it. But Adrenaline, please, is not giving up. These drivers are really at it, hammer and tongs. It's absolutely superb. Meanwhile, on the street, a few more comments in. LGS initially asking if are we looking forward to the Haas launch. I'm actually really intrigued by how that's going to go. I mean, the drivers they've got, Roman Grosjean and Esteban Gutierrez, are both very good drivers in and of themselves. And a team was starting from the back, a completely new team. Of late, the new teams have had a big disadvantage, but then again, how much help have they had from Ferrari? And how competitive is that car going to be? I'm really intrigued. Meanwhile, LGS also saying you will to definitely use my tactic on a narrow track like Road America, and I absolutely agree. Out in first place is Skarky Puppy, gets a little tail slip there and gets away with it. Welsh aka Bob Boy having a quiet line through turn 3 as well. Meanwhile, Killer Ramsey has still got Adrenaline, please, in the BMW Z4 all over his tailpipe, and really doing everything he can to make that driver absolutely miserable. Adrenaline, please, is really sticking in with it. Bob Leeswanger's got a little braking distance ahead of the Knight 4001. Assistant Flint has kind of gotten out on his own now in the Ginetta G55. Meanwhile, we've got a battle of the McLarens. Vickers, F1 and Maldovic, teammates here, both battling into turn 4. Both drivers will be a bit disappointed to be down that far in the points here. The McLaren MP4-12C GT is normally quite a competitive car, but they're all finding it a bit more handled here today, but Maldovic now has a great opportunity on the back of his teammate Vickers as we head down towards the carousel. So we're right on board with this to give you an angle of something slightly different. Heading on the inside curve, gets on the temporary service, nice smoothly there, Maldovic, trying to psych out the Vickers F1, and we've got the headlights on Vickers, but the headlights are not on Maldovic. Interesting tactics being displayed by both drivers there as we go through the carousel, and you can see that Maldovic's car seems to be a bit more snaky, having less grip as it's gone through those turns, finding it very difficult to get through those bends and make it work really well. And Maldovic has actually fallen away from his teammate, so down in 10th place, rounding off the points is Paulie Dog, and then we've got Bagavo as way down, the Alchemist 254, Flipper Racing, who will be very disappointed to be all the way down in 13th place, Rotary Madness in 14th, and then right at the back we've got Bacon Bonds, who's a long way off the pace. But there's still 15 laps to go as Maldovic's actually made a mistake at the final corner. Looks like he's somehow spun it there, and so that's a lot of Vickers to get a big distance on him. System Flint and the Ginetta's got quite a long gap as Night 4001 is slowly catching up to Bob Lee Slager as Adrenaline Please has been dropped a little bit by Killer Ramsey, so the gaps have started to form as the drivers have slowly found their rhythm. Welsh aka Bad Boy still in second place, quite a long way ahead, and then we've got Skonky Puppy. Gap between them is only a couple of seconds away actually, it's not a huge one at the moment, so potential for a bit of action there between those drivers. Meanwhile, LGS 469 asks, are pit stops mandatory in this league? The answer is yes, they are. There is full tyre wear, there is full fuel, so drivers will have to be strategic with how they time their stops. Now, last week in Hockenheim, we saw a bit of a bizarre one happen with Killer Ramsey, who actually did an extra stop after he went in for a pit to the pits on the rain tyres and got put on slicks. So he ended up losing 2 places and not being able to catch them up, which is a disappointment for him. He's looking to make amends here. As Adrenaline Please now tries to catch up to Killer Ramsey, as we've had, I think we possibly had a retirement here, because Bob Lee Slager's in 4th, Night 4001 is in 5th. I think, yeah, Welshie's down in 6th place. Welshie's had a mistake and gone off the circuit, so that's got the Audis now off the podium, and Bob Lee Slager is chasing after Adrenaline Please, who's currently all at the tailpipe of Killer Ramsey. Out in first place is Skonky Puppy, once again trying to pull away as quick as he can, and these two drivers once again are back in each other's wing mirrors. As soon as you think you've got a little bit of a breathing, you can sit back, put your feet up, bang, the drivers are at it again, and they're all over each other, and I'm sure you're all absolutely loving it. Live and exclusive on Twitch.tv, Excite Racing League coverage on the PlayStation 4 GT3 division. Of course, if you're interested in joining this league, you can always go to exciteracingleague.com. There's plenty of sign-ups there. You can also speak to myself or Welshie aka Bad Boy on PlayStation Network. We're the guys out there doing the recruiting and the running. As Adrenaline Please in 3rd place has got a little bit of a run here on the back of Killer Ramsey in the RUF. So the BMW Z4, it normally is seen as a bit of a corner beast rather than a straight line one. It's eating up the slipstream down towards turn 3. Killer Ramsey takes a leaf out of LGS's book, goes into the centre of the circuit, blocks off any attempt to get through. Good driving so far, but we've seen Adrenaline Please being really able to whack that car through the middle of this lap here at Urquhart Lake. As the sun is starting to set, the floodlights are starting to come on. Soon we're going to be seeing the drivers having the reduced visibility of the night racing, and that's going to make it interesting. We saw the carnage on the first couple of laps. Are we going to see more? There's a mistake here. I think Adrenaline Please may have just got a penalty there for cutting the track, as he seemed to lose a lot of time, and Bob Lee Slager has caught him up quite quickly, and so has Night 4001. So all of a sudden the battle for the final step of the podium is really opening up. Going through the carousel, Night 4001 in the RUF, trying to catch up to Bob Lee Slager and the Audi R8 LMS Ultra, getting on the run down towards Canada Corner. That's still a bit bizarre as to why it's called that, because this track's nowhere near Canada. But whatever the reason for it, getting in the slipstream there is Night 4001, heading down towards the Canada Corner, the aforementioned turn. Gets on the brakes a little later than the R8, so that might give him a bit of a run out to the corner through Bob Mitchell towards that final long straight down towards turn 1. I mean, question for you guys out there on the stream who are racers, a track like this where you've got the long straights and you've got those sharp distances, is this a track where you would love to race and have the ability to get on the anchors and be brave in the braking zones? Meanwhile, Knight 4001 getting into the slipstream behind Bobley Swagger in the Audi R8 LMS Ultra, who goes to the middle of the circuit, gets a little defensive into turn 1, and we've seen before the great drive from Knight 4001 in the RUF, going wide on the outside rumble strip, pushing as hard as he can, getting into that slipstream, heading through turn 2, wants to have a run down at turn 3. On the stream as well, a guy by the name of Danzo D7, good evening to you, has come in with entertaining stuff. Indeed it has been, and I hope you're all absolutely loving this. We're here every week, Saturday, 10 PM GMT. Though for the next 2 weeks we are having a break because I will be in Thailand. But the third round of this championship will be at Donington Park. So we're going from a very long, wide, open circuit with lots of long straights to a more technical, tight and twisty one that pushes the cars to the limit. Make sure you're there for that in 3 weeks' time. We are moving back through the field. We've got System Flint in the Ginetta G55, who's out on his own at the moment. Maldovic in the McLaren MP412C GT. He's on his 7th. We've got Paulie Dog in 8th. Then Bagavo in 9th for the BMW Z4. And Welshie, aka Bad Boy, who I believe has just got into the pits, is now in 10th place. So he's made his mandatory pit stop just before the 50% mark. Bit of an interesting strategy that, because there's a little bit of sunlight in the air. Now that might mean there's a little bit more track temperature now to get those tyres up to temperature before the sun goes down and the track begins to cool. We've got Flipper Racing in 12th place, and then we've got Motoring Madness in 13th. A bit of a queue of BMW Z4s. Bacon Bonds is getting out of the way of the leaders there, pulling over to my laps, and then there's me putting my feet up in the garage at the back in the commentary box. So, Motoring Madness in the BMW Z4 trying to catch up to the back of the Flipper Racing in the other BMW Z4 in 11th place. Not even in the points, these guys, and yet they're still battling hammer and tongs. That's exactly how we like to see it here at XRL Racing League, live and exclusive on Twitch.tv. Paul Dog, 8th place in the Audi, and we've got Maldovic in the McLaren P7. System Flint still trying to get a handle on that handful of a car that is the Ginetta G55. A brave man to take that on, because that's one beast of a machine. Knight 4001 in the RUF has actually fallen away slightly from Bobley Swagger in the Audi R8, so a little bit of breathing room for the American thus far. We've got Adrenaline Place in the BMW Z4, and he has also fallen away from Killer Ramsey, and Skanky Puppy is just managing that gap. A few seconds clear of his teammate. He's not rumped away into the distance completely, conserving the tyres and saving the fuel. Strategic driving as we enter that period where the race has settled down a little bit, so the drivers will be able to get themselves into a better rhythm. Now, question for all you people out there on the stream. With the new Formula 1 season, the World Endurance and all that coming up, one of the key questions is coverage. What does everyone think about the fact that Channel 4 have taken over the broadcast rights for Formula 1 from the BBC? Considering that all the bets were on ITV to take the footage from them, it was a real surprise when Channel 4 said, actually, we're going to give this a go. What does everyone think? Do they think that this might actually be the shot in the arm that Channel 4 gave to sports like cricket back in the early 2000s? Or are we going to see a bit of a train wreck from some of their 1990s soccer coverage? Get your comments on the stream. System Flint in the Ginetta G55. That's come onto the carousel now. I want to watch this car as it goes through here. A track where you really have to get lots of precision, especially at a corner like this. And in a car as much as a handful as the Ginetta, I'm amazed he's got such control over that. A lot of people seem to have real problems with this car and call it almost undrivable. But it's incredible stuff that he's got on top of it. Meanwhile, Knight 4001 again falling away a little bit from Bobley Swagger. So unfortunately we are at that point where the race has settled down a little bit. However, we've got Paulie Dog and Bagavo and then Welshie, aka Bad Boy, in the Audi. So we'll ride on board here at the tail end of the point as the headlights start to come on the cars and the sun has almost gone. We're almost at the halfway point of this race here at Road America in Urquhart Lake, and an absolutely superb circuit that's encouraged wheel-to-wheel action all throughout. Welshie, aka Bad Boy, getting right on the back of Paulie Dog in the second Audi, pulls out the slipstream down towards Canada Corner. Oh! Caught up by the braking there. He's almost slammed right into the back of that. His teammates getting his bullets creased up. He's got away with that. Welsh aka Bad Boy caught out by the braking distance of the slower driver, Paulie Dog. That's one of the dangers you have in GT driving. Any kind of Le Mans or endurance racing, there's so many different speeds of drivers. You've got to ensure that you can trust the driver. On the stream, meanwhile, LTS says he doesn't really mind about the cover because he watches Sky's coverage. Boo! Boo! Hiss! How dare you! Sponsoring Rupert Murdoch. Welsh aka Bad Boy in 8th place now. There's a couple of cars have got into the pits trying to catch up to Paulie Dog. I think he's afraid of getting too close to the back of that Audi after what happened into Canada Carter. So I think Welsh aka Bad Boy were doing his best to try and blast past on the straight rather than following for a more tight twisty section. Gets into the slipstream beautifully. You'd expect Welshie in the wake to be able to blast past, but then again these cars might have quite close parity in regards to the speed here, so who knows. Welshie aka Bad Boy follows Paulie, who's in the middle of the circuit. He's been paying attention to the stream, it would seem, going into turn 3. Welshie gets on the inside, brave driving, and what an overtake as Paulie Dog is psyched out and goes off the circuit. Great driving from Welshie aka Bad Boy as Bagamo in the BMW Z4 tries to take advantage and pull away as Knight 4001 has kind of fallen away again from Bobbly Swager. Bobbly Swager certainly put his authority there. Adrenaline Please caught out by one of the back marker BMWs there, almost went into the back of it, has done away with it, got no damage, but he could have easily had that car written off. Very, very fortunate to not have gone into the wall there. Meanwhile, co-host Danzo D7 regarding the F1 coverage says he actually likes it on the BBC. Says Susie Perry, Coulthard and Eddie was good to watch. You know, you see, the thing is, I'm not so sure. I mean, the BBC's coverage was quite interesting at first, but they slowly became more and more affected by Lewis Styria. And I must say that Sky's coverage is a problem as well. It's like, because Mercedes have been so dominant, they've naturally focused on them rather than the other teams. And apart from the odd mention that the likes of Hulkenberg's won at Le Mans, you felt that it was very much a two-car show, even when Ferrari were doing really well. So, I don't know, it'd be nice to see a fresh perspective, but then again, apparently we've already got Coulthard joining the Channel 4 squad, so who knows who's going to follow him. Though I am perplexed by the fact that Eddie Jordan's joined the Top Gear team. I'm just trying to picture how he'd be able to relate with the audience and that kind of thing. Who knows? Paulie Dog, meanwhile, trying to catch up to the back of Welshie aka Bad Boy in that Audi R8 LMS Ultra. He might have been blasted past originally, but he's not giving up on that place. Great driving from the newcomer. Goes off the circuit on the inside though there, so Paulie Dog will have lost a few more tenths on the back of Welshie aka Bad Boy there, and you expect that this is now Welshie's race to try and claw the points back as Bagamo in 6th place in the BMW Z4 having a quiet race for Star. Knight 4001 taking after the thing. He's actually got his lights off despite the track being pretty much dark. He must be one of these drivers who really likes living on the ragged edges. Bob Lee Swager has caught up to the back of Adrenaline Please in the BMW Z4. I don't know what's happened to the BMW there, but Bob Lee Swager has now suddenly got battle joined. And if Adrenaline Please does what he's done previously in the race here, we could have some entertaining scraps as Bob Lee Swager moves left and right, trying to find his way through, trying to force the wedge. But the Adrenaline Please is resisting and then into the pits, so that's the end of that duel. Well, it was good while it lasted. Meanwhile, Danzo DF7 has just quickly said, can't watch Top Gear now with that lineup. I mean, what I don't understand with that one is the whole idea of having 7 presenters. I don't quite see how that's going to work. I thought the whole point of the show was that it was 3 out-of-touch people that you couldn't relate to that made it so relatable. Now you've suddenly got 7 completely different people. I might give it a try, I might watch it on the iPlayer just to see if it's any good, but I have my doubts. Bob Lee Swager in 3rd place now, trying to break the gap on the Knight 4001 in the RUF. Killer Ramsey going under the Corvette bridge, and then Skanky Puppy way out in front here as he goes towards the carousel. Certainly got this race pretty much under control. We could be in for an RUF 1-2, but then again, there's little under half a race distance to go as Knight has fallen here at Road America, so anything is possible as these drivers start to really try and get themselves into a rhythm. It's a marathon, not a sprint, remember. Knight 4001 in the RUF. Bobby Smarter and Knight bizarrely driving without their headlights on, despite it being almost completely black out there. They must have real confidence. Begavo's got adrenaline please in the BMW Z4 behind him, and then watching Kev Batboy's not really been able to make up any ground here, which is a bit of a surprise. But adrenaline please has come out of the pits. And after that stop there, it's got a bit of a gap on Welshie, and it's now looking at the back of Begavo in the other BMW Z4. So we'll ride on board here for a short while, just to see if we can get a bit of action between these two drivers. Heading down towards turn 4 here at Road America, and you can see Adrenaline Police favouring that slightly wider line that gives you the cutback on the inside afterwards. It's not quite the traditional line, but you're only driving a GT car. Sometimes the most traditional line is not the fastest way. As he heads into the kink just before the carousel, trying to catch up to the back of Begavo, who's having a quiet race to 5th so far. Been quite impressive, kept himself out of trouble after that initial couple of laps there. Adrenaline Please gets on the inside apex beautifully, wide to the outside curb, heading towards the carousel. There's the headlights are full beam now, lots of reflections off the circuit here as the night has pretty much fallen almost totally. Definitely a challenge for the drivers when you have the conditions changing from light to darkness. You're really pushed to the ragged edge. Adrenaline Please trying to catch up to the back of Begavo in the BMW Z4 as we head down towards Canada Corner here at Road America, live on Twitch.tv, exclusively live. Chat box is open. The likes of LGS, Weswick Gaming, Danzo D7 have all been getting in with their comments to start about the race, about motorsport in general, and about whatever the hell else you want to talk about, really, as long as it's not rude. And of course, if you want to get your messages on there, the chat box is open. Please post. I'll do my best to give you a shout out. If you're watching this via Twitch app on PlayStation Network, you can send me a message via PSN, but with the way the message system works, I will not be able to watch it over the stream, so the chances are I will not get to it. So apologies for that. Adrenaline Please trying to close the gap on Begavo, who's actually set lap times very comparable to him. So Adrenaline Please not having it all his own way. Further up the field, we've got Knight 4001. He's actually a couple of seconds slower than the guys behind him. But because he's kept himself out of trouble, because he's avoided those pit stops, he's actually got quite a sizable gap. Meanwhile, Killer Ramsey has caught up on the back markers of the BMW Z4 there, and that's compromised him as he's trying to catch his teammate heading into Canada Corner, and that gap was visibly cut down. The RUS are getting closer and closer together, so we might possibly see some action between these drivers here, depending on how much of this is favoured by the pit stop strategies. So let's ride on board with Killer Ramsey going into the final corner, heading towards the beer straight. If you got a beer, have a shot. In the meantime, heading on the gas, trying to catch up to the back of his teammate out in first place, Skanky Bobby. Skanky Bobby has got the lead thus far, but Killer Ramsey is not giving up, and he's actually started flashing his lights cheekily, trying to psych his teammate out because he's nowhere near him, but flashing his headlights might think he's closer and make him slow down. Bit of a cheeky manoeuvre, but then again, Killer Ramsey is going to have to work harder than that to forget Skanky Bobby napping. But then again, anything is possible here in GT racing. Killer Ramsey on the gas down the big long straight towards turn 4. An opportunity here to catch that and get into the wake. I think he's just too far behind to have the effects of the slipstream at the moment. He needs a couple of tenths in the next couple of laps to just claw that distance between them, and that will enable him to get the extra speed to catch up to his teammate and start wheel banging potentially through those corners. And as the headlights start to flood from behind you as well, oh, but a spin! A bit of a mistake from Killer Ramsey. He's had a spin. He's lost it at the corner there. After all that hard work, Bobby Swimer is in third place now as Knight 4001 tries to catch up to him. But disaster for Killer Ramsey. Maybe it was a commentator's curse. Maybe it was an error from the driver, but a mistake unforced. Luckily, he's nowhere near third place, so he's got away with it. He's not lost any time, realistically. As Knight 4001 tries to catch up to Bobby Swimer, but there's no real distance between them at the moment. Knight evidently just leaving the pits. Adrenaline Please in the BMW Z4 is being chased quickly by Begavo, so he's got past him on screen. I do apologise for not covering that. Moshi aka Bad Boy still struggling to catch up to the pack here, finding it very, very difficult. Polydor, meanwhile, is having a quiet race in 8th place. System Flint in that Janetta G55, still keeping it on the island somehow. And then we've got Maldovic in the McLaren in 10th place, and Rotary Madness in 11th, rounding off the points. Now, question on the stream you have, and Danzel D7 asks, do I think that Lewis Hamilton will win another Drivers' Championship in the upcoming season? I'm not really sure because it depends on what kind of gains have been made by the other teams. Everyone knows how dominant that Mercedes engine is, but have Honda managed to get something together from McLaren? What have Ferrari done through their tie-up with Haas? And again, what about Renault? Have they? Oh, the mistakes happened there. Pagano has been able to sweep past possibly as a mistake has taken place on the BMW Z4 side by side into the carousel. Great driving there. Pagano's just had to let that one go. Adrenaline Please just at the high ground. But the mistake of Adrenaline Please has got Pagano all over him. Heading into the king towards Canada Corner. Pagano on a real charge here, heading down towards Canada Corner. Getting in the slipstream of the opposite BMW Z4 of Adrenaline Please. Headlights are sparks off white in the night sky here in Road America. Gets on the brakes and Canada Corner, a bit wavering, lifts left and right as the car squeals on the brake and it gets away with that. Heading under the Bob Mitchell Bridge, heading towards the final corner. Pagano really attacking as close as he can to Adrenaline Please. The unforced error, he senses he's vulnerable. He senses that he's ready for the taking. Pagano wants that place and the extra points. Gets us to the slipstream, heading down towards turn 1. We've seen Pagano watching as Adrenaline Please goes through the middle of the circuit defensively, trying to force the high ground, heading towards turn 1. Adrenaline Please may just have the overspeed coming up in towards turn 1. Going to be mighty close. Can he get an outbreaking manoeuvre? Pagano, no, he's just not close enough. But a mistake possibly from Adrenaline Please, went a little too wide there. Pagano got a cleaner exit. That might make Pagano in the hybrid seat towards turn 4 here down this long straight. Gets into the slipstream. Opportunity here for the BMW Z4 driver to get himself into double figure points here at Road America. Gets in the wake as ahead of him. Adrenaline Please gets right in the middle of the circuit like a middle lane hogger on the motorway, trying to keep him behind him, and Pagano can only filter in. But a mistake, Adrenaline Please goes too deep, and that allows Pagano to sweep past him and take 5th place. He's forced the error, he's forced the mistake. Adrenaline Please was vulnerable enough to get caught out. Welsh AK Bad Boy, meanwhile, in the Audi R8 LMS Ultra is not too far behind these guys now, as they've been getting into the wars, so it's an opportunity for the Audi driver to call himself back towards those points at the top of the field. Getting back to the question about Hamilton, I mean, he's definitely got the form in terms of his performances. You know, he's had back-to-back titles. However, Rosberg ended the last season on a mighty charge, taking some very, very strong victories. So that may possibly suggest that he's got the high ground there. Ferrari are always going to be a threat with the way that they've built their car around Sebastian Vettel. McLaren could complete dark horses after that horrible season last time. Who knows if Honda have pulled the rabbit out of the hat. And Renault, the same for them. Have they found a way to make that vehicle drivable? We've got the likes of Kevin Magnussen driving for them. And Williams, they've redesigned their vehicle. Can they get the best out of the Mercedes engine? It's hard to say, but you have to say, unfortunately, that because of the changing regulations next year, you expect Mercedes to have the high ground. Adrenaline Please is going to get the position back as into the pits when the BMW Z4 driver Pagano. So Welsh AK Bad Boy has a chance to charge after him. Moving up the field, Knight 4001 has fallen way behind Bob Lee Swagger, not being able to make any inroad on the pits there. Killer Ramsey, meanwhile, goes down towards turn 4 in the RUF. And way ahead of him now, this skanky puppy. The pit stop strategies have thrown this out here as Knight has completely fallen. The headlights are on and the drivers are really on the ragged edge. Flashing lights there, Adrenaline Please, possibly getting past the back marker, almost like he's on the Mulsanne Le Mans. Yeah, it looks like it's one of the other BMW Z4 drivers. It might even be Adrenaline Please. The Adrenaline Please looking at his teammates, sorry there, he's going to say, get out of my way, you're not racing me. Oh, Knight 4001's had a spin somewhere on track. It looks like it's just after turn 5. Same mistake was made by Killer Ramsey. Has the RUF got a weakness through that kind of corner? Because that's two different drivers now who've gone off there as Bob Lee Swagger goes around the carousel. Look at how different the circuit looks at night. There's very little floodlights there. It's hard to find your marks. The drivers will really be able to be as precise as surgical as possible if they want to avoid themselves going off into the gravel and making those critical mistakes. Night 4001 has got adrenaline please all over him as a result of that mistake. So, well, game on once again as the BMW Z4 tries to catch up to the RUF. We've only got 4 laps remaining here at Road America. It's been an absolute breeze. It's flown by because the racing's been such high octane and top-notch feel here. Brought to you live and exclusive on Twitch.tv on behalf of Excite Racing League. I'm Pete Markoff for the PS4 GT3 League. Unfortunately, due to an issue with the way the sound works on the PS4, I can't bring you a podium interview. So unfortunately, I won't be able to do that. But what I can say is that you've been treated to an absolute classic of wheel-banging, high-speed action here at Road America. After this, we've got 2 weeks off before we find ourselves back at Donington Park in England. Meanwhile, Danzo D7 thinks it's going to be a great season to look forward to. He's a McLaren fan, so he hopes they do well. I'm a McLaren fan myself, so I'm hoping they'll be able to turn it round. With the likes of Fernando Alonso and Jenson Button in the driving seats, they've got drivers who are absolutely superb. I can definitely get the best out of the car. You've got the likes of Peter Pedromu and aerodynamics as well, so they've got a lot of technical staff there. It's about getting that engine bedded in. If Honda can do their magic, who knows what will happen. And of course, from next season, all engine development will be allowed. There'll be no more token system. So this year is going to be a transition where the teams will be identifying their weak points, and then from after that race in Abu Dhabi next year, it's going to be an arms race into 2017. So anything could happen. Adrenaline please trying to catch up to the night 4001 as Bob Lee Swager in the Audi R8 looks on favourite to get 3rd position. Meanwhile, we've got Killer Ramsey. He's had a bit of an error, but he's going into the carousel and he's got no issues there. As Skinny Puppy, meanwhile, has come into the pits. Now, this is interesting. Where is Killer Ramsey going to come out in relation to his teammate here? Coming into the Canada corner, you expect the pound seats to be with Skanky Puppy here, but Killer Ramsey might potentially find a way to get close to his teammate. Skanky Puppy's just leaving now. He's getting up to the pit lane limiter. Meanwhile, Killer Ramsey is just coming up to the final corner. It looks like this is going to be Skanky Puppies, but he's going to have a lot of time here as he gets up towards his teammate. His teammate's going to be about 6 seconds behind, so he's just not close enough to make the effective pass there. Bob Lee Swager in 3rd place has got Night 4001 way behind, so as long as he can make it to the end of the race with his fuel and his tyre load, Adrenaline Please trying to catch up tonight, but he's lost a bit of speed there as Moshi aka Bad Boy tries to recover, goes off the circuit down towards Canada corner, got that completely wrong there, really made a hash of that, but luckily managed to avoid the tyre wall. Meanwhile, we've got Paulie Dory in 7th place, going up to Canada corner now. Had a quiet race relatively, but done a decent job thus far in the Audi R8 LMS. And then we've got System Flint, who's still managed to keep that Ginetta G55 on the island. It's not the easiest car to drive. In fact, it's a complete and utter animal. But he's made that happen. He's done really, really well. Then we've got Maldovic in 9th place for McLaren. And then finally Flipper Racing, who's been out of the points all race. And then we've got Pagavo who's in the pits. So he might actually have retired here possibly because his car's pointing the wrong way. Rotary Madness goes by, and indeed Pagavo has been passed. I think he's given up the ghost. So with only 2 laps to go pretty much, he's handed up the keys. What a strange decision. Paulie Dog is 7th place, looking in the back of Moshi aka Bad Boy. Is too far ahead road to make a pass there. And Adrenaline Please, the BMW Z4 has got the same problem with Night 4001. These drivers have just got that little gap between them, so it looks like unfortunately we might be heading for that damp swim moment where the drivers follow each other home, trying not to take those risks and get those points on the board. Skanky Puppy has gone off the circuit. Where's Skanky Puppy? Skanky Puppy's got stuck in the gravel. He's got the complete row. Skanky Puppy's made a critical error here. Can Killer Ramsey get past his teammate? How close are they? Yes, Skanky Puppy has lost out. And so Bob Lee Swager has gone through as well. Killer Ramsey is now in 1st place. Skanky Puppy is in 2nd. Bob Lee Swager's coming up to Canada corner. What a mistake for Skanky Puppy. He's completely got it wrong. Bob Lee Swager goes into Canada corner and he's not far behind. In fact, there is Skanky Puppy ahead of Bob Lee Swager. As that made a critical damage, he goes through to 2nd place. Killer Ramsey is on for victory in the most dramatic way possible. 3 laps from the end and Skanky Puppy has completely lost the grip there. He's got it sounds like he might be out of fuel. He's got no pace whatsoever. 94001 to take evasive action to get out of the way of him. Welsh aka Bad Boy will be on his way coming through soon. Skanky Puppy. It's like he's got a transmission failure. Has completely lost position. Absolutely unbelievable. 94001 is now on for a podium. It's just, you never know what's going to happen as Welsh aka Bad Boy lost out to Adrenaline Please because they were both trying to get past Skanky Puppy, who was trolling at the back of the field. Skanky Puppy's trying to get into the pits. As Welsh aka Bad Boy gets up to the back of Adrenaline Please in the BMW Z4. Well, what a dramatic end to the race this is. Welsh aka Bad Boy gets into the slipstream of Adrenaline Please in the BMW Z4. Going into turn 1, Welsh aka Bad Boy has a great opportunity here to attack the back of the BMW Z4. Being driven by Adrenaline Please. Battle for 4th place on the field here. And those final 12 points that this offers in this league. Welsh aka Bad Boy goes off the circuit. He's pushing so hard. Meanwhile, 94001 is nowhere near Bobley Slogger, so you'd anticipate now. Well, I don't want to say who's going to come anywhere else. We saw that mistake as Skanky Puppy has had some wood backs in the pits. Welsh aka Bad Boy below has really called to Adrenaline Please. The BMW Z4 driver looking out of shape going into turn 4 there. Welsh aka Bad Boy in the Audi R8 LMS Ultra. Is he going to try a suicide dive on the inside? It looks pretty tight here. Adrenaline Please has got the filtering line, so he gets ahead. But Adrenaline Please is not giving up here as Welsh aka Bad Boy is pushing the back of that BMW Z4 as he heads towards the carousel. These two drivers all in hammer and tongs. What a finish to the race this is going to be. Welsh aka Bad Boy goes totally off the circuit. I've got to be careful. He doesn't get his engine cut into the carousel. A blur of headlights and a lick of flame as both drivers get on the absolute attack here. All out towards the rugged edge. Welsh aka Bad Boy goes off the circuit. He goes on the grass. He's pushing so hard. Adrenaline Please meanwhile will be hoping with his hope that a similar mistake befalls Welsh aka Bad Boy and he gets away with 4th place on the field here. Welsh aka Bad Boy, headlights astream, heading towards Canada Corner. Ahead of him, meanwhile, Adrenaline Please, the BMW Z4 takes a slightly tighter line, so it might favour the BMW, but the pace of the Audi might allow him to catch up here. Into the final lap, pretty much unbelievably close. This is extremely tight stuff here as Welsh aka Bad Boy goes up the inside trying to attack the back of Adrenaline Please, but he's got a bit too ragged here and has fallen away from the back of the BMW Z4. He's got to get that perfect lap together. He's got to get stuck in the slipstream if he's going to have any chance to affect the pass and give a soul-crushing defeat to the driver Adrenaline Please in the BMW Z4. Going through turn 1, Adrenaline Please taking a slightly tinier line there than Welsh aka Bad Boy, but Welshie has got the bit between his teeth. The red mist has descended. He's on all-out attack. He wants to take this position and get the final points that are on offer here. 12 points instead of 10. Welsh aka Bad Boy came second last time. Really needs those extra points. He wants to catch up and take advantage of the critical failure that befell Skanky Puppy. Gets in the slipstream towards turn 3, gets on the brakes. He's going to be close enough to affect the pass. No, Adrenaline Please has got the better line. But Welsh aka Bad Boy is on all-out attack here. Is he going to dive on the inside? Is he going to go all-out attack here? Devil may care. Looks like he may have gone through there. Beautiful move. Adrenaline Please has been passed by Welsh aka Bad Boy. What an overtake. Well, Adrenaline Please. Oh, big mistake. Smashes into the wall. Spins it round, and what a catastrophic end for Adrenaline Please. Having been overtaken by Welsh aka Bad Boy, he's dropped it, punted the wall, damaged his car, and he might be able to limp back for 5th place, but he will be so frustrated with that. He did so well, then he made that critical error, and Welsh aka Bad Boy was able to take the points. With our System Flint driving around sedately to 7th place. Maldovic is in 8th. Skanky Puppy has managed to get refueled and he's back on the grid in 9th place, but you get the feeling he's not really going to get much more. And Rotary Madness is rounding out the points in 10th. Behind them, Flipper Racing and Bacon Bots, despite being 12th and 11th, are in a duel. Well, why not ride on board? And I think it's only fair to the drivers that we bookend the battle here. Flipper Racing in 11th place has got Bacon Bots behind him as we are on the final lap. This is so close. These two drivers pushing each other right to the bottom of the field. Well, that's the kind of racing you want to see. That's all about pride. It's all about saying who's the faster man. and it looks like Bacon Bonds is going to be too far behind here. So in fact the pass on the back of Flipper Racing in the BMW Z4, but then he gets in the slipstream heading towards Canada Corner. It's not over yet. Bacon Bonds might decide to make an all-out late munch here into Canada Corner. Flipper Racing psychs him out a bit with the way he brakes there. Bacon Bonds just not close enough to take advantage. Gets into the slipstream as he passes one of the retired back markers, going through the light, going through Bob Mitchell Corner, heading towards the final turn. Bacon Bonds 72 heading to the final corner, trying to get a slipstream to do a photo finish with the BMW Z4 of Flipper Racing. Gets an aggressive, slightly tinier exit. This could be close. Is he going to have enough grip? I don't think he's going to have enough time. Indeed he hasn't. He's just unfortunately ran out of steam. Big commiserations there. So that's our final position here as we're on the final lap. So there are our final positions. Killer Ramsey is your race winner with Bob Lee Smaga in second place. We've got Knight after that.